Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to One Wing Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna Nye, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cobbush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going. I mean, hey, I got a partner today, so this is good. This is good.
Yes, they let me out. I was detained, as you pointed out.
Yes.
I don't know, but yeah, I was released,
Mm-hmm.
and now okay.
Good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. See, I would like to point out that Krishna today is wearing a Superman t-shirt. And
Oh,
I'm
nice
wondering if
t-shirt.
that is a subtle hint today at some possibilities that we may get into discussing later on. It's a
Yeah.
common recurring theme whenever certain people aren't on Dynamite. We begin to talk about, oh my God, what if they come back,
The
right? So yeah,
what
of
if
course.
scenarios, right? Like maybe
Yes.
that should be a segment that we have, the what if scenarios, because
Mhm.
we really do. I know I love talking about the what if
Of
scenarios.
course, fantasy booking. It's what all wrestling fans get into, right? Like, what if we did this, right? What if this
Exactly.
happened? What if this happened? Yeah, no, we love that kind of stuff. But I mean, overall, yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a good day. It's been rainy here in Toronto, but what do you want? It's the end of October.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, end of October. I mean, you're right. And normally, like, well, not normal, I guess, but in the past, it wasn't rainy. It was probably a lot colder and
Hmm.
potential snow and stuff like that. So you know what? I can deal with the rain. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. It makes playing Pokemon Go so much more easy, so much easier. Man, that was terrible grammar. Grammar police. Anyway. Well, we have some stuff to talk about before the show tonight, don't we? Couple
We
little
do.
updates. I mean, look, I covered the news yesterday, but you know what I absolutely didn't mention? And I'm going to say that my omission was just because I wanted to talk about it with you. It was just so
So
awesome. I had to wait for you to show up and totally didn't even mention it yesterday. But hey, Jericho, 3 more years with AEW.
hmm yeah, awesome. I mean, again, this just shows like first Mox, Jericho now, just showing their confidence in the product, right? Jericho obviously with a expanded role, I think now,
Mhm.
similar to like a Mox role, teaching like this is what you need from like your vets, right? You need them to be there to guide the new the new stars, I should say, or the new talent. And honestly, like Jericho, if he wasn't getting paid as like I'm gonna call it punk money, he probably is getting that now, right? So and deservingly so, him and both Mox. So I saw this break the other day, and just like the Mox signing, very happy to see. Very again, the ship is not sinking as some people will have you believe. Things are just are okay.
100%. Look, listen, people. You know what? I've been going back and listening to a podcast called Keep It 2000. All right. Brian
Mhm.
Mann and Nate, brother Nate Milton. There we go. Okay. Been listening to their podcast that was done a few years back, and it's reviewing episodes of WCW 2000 Nitros.
Mhm.
Okay. Seriously, anyone who's comparing WCW with AEW needs to just stop now. There
Fair
is
enough.
no comparison at all to what happened in that company and this brief little blip in
Mhm.
AEW that has almost been completely solved. Jericho re-upping his contract is amazing news, like you said. Him,
Yep.
Moxley, you got the two leaders of the ship now in a lot of ways, right? Both of them helping the young talent. Both of them have a reputation for doing that anyway. Jericho with so much experience, so much creative smarts. All right.
Mhm.
I mean, having a guy like that help people like Daniel Garcia, you've seen how far Garcia has come along in just the
Yep.
last year. So
Yep.
amazing, amazing. So glad he's on board for another 3. Glad Mox is on board for 5. You know, this is AEW is looking great. There's almost nothing that could make it better tonight. I'm just saying, almost nothing. Um, anyway, we had one more small news item to talk about tonight, and this was just a very quick up. I mean, yes, just yesterday I talked about the New Japan, the updated card for November 5th. Um, Battle Autumn, and Carl Anderson was removed from the card essentially because he signed with the WWE and he's going to be and says he informed New Japan he's going to be in Saudi Arabia for November 5th because Blood money is way better than having an actual good match against someone who's better caliber than whoever the heck he's facing. It's like some multi-man BS in Saudi Arabia he's involved in, right? So anyway, yeah. The point is, New Japan issued a statement today, and it said, show up or we strip you of the title. So, pretty straightforward. Show up to the event or you don't have a title anymore. Congratulations. So I really hope he doesn't show up so they can strip him of the title and someone else can have the Never Openweight Championship. That would be kind of nice.
Yeah, it's such an odd like I don't know if it's a work. I do strongly believe it's real, like this entire thing. Yeah, why not? Like I don't understand how this even happened the way it happened in terms of like him joining WWE but still having this belt. At first I thought it was a work, but yeah, but New Japan by all means strip him of the belt. Like that's it. Like again, as wrestling fans, we remember like you earn these things by hard work, by putting your hard work. But as some people do state, like no one ever wins anything. So these belts do belong to the company. So with New Japan, by all means, strip him of this belt. And honestly, Carl Anderson, good luck in WWE. Like as you mentioned, they're going to Saudi Arabia. One person who, when they were working for WWE, refused to go to Saudi Arabia. That's a Mr. Bryan Danielson, and I'm glad he's on our side, I should say, at the moment. Oddly, like I was listening to like a Sean Ross Sapp Fightful Select kind of Q&A earlier today, and someone asked Sean, what are the chances now that Mox and Jericho have signed that Danielson may sign? And Sean said, well, we have to remember that Danielson is 1 year into his 3-year contract, so he's gonna be with them for a while. And the person also asked, what are the chances of Danielson winning the AEW championship? And he said, oh, Danielson will win that championship one day,
of course,
guaranteed, right? And he did say, the whole thing about Danielson, he said it in interviews, he has no problem with WWE. He actually was a Vince McMahon fan. Like he liked Vince. So, it's just that he wanted to do something different. And he's doing that now. Whatever you're seeing on AEW, Danielson did not have that chance to wrestle in WWE, and he loves it. This is a guy that loves this type of wrestling. So, I am confident. Again, 2 more years, guys. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit here. When it comes up, it comes out. Who knows what the landscape's gonna look like in 2 years, right? Like it's
exactly.
changed. Things may be different, but I'm happy with all the signings. I'm happy with the people who have joined WWE. You could stay there. I'm happy that you're there, actually, Anderson and Gals. I'm just let's just say good things are on the horizon, Bill. Good things are on the horizon.
Exactly. Now Eric Redbeard just needs to go back with Bray Wyatt and we're all good, right?
Yeah. It's weird because I was reading this article earlier this week, and they had said the thing about Bray Wyatt is, and I like Bray. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Bray. But he's always looking for that one thing. He had the Wyatt family, and now then he has a lot of like great ideas. But nothing that's, and I don't know why they keep changing it. It could have been who was ever in charge was making them change it, but he's still looking to land that one that's like Undertaker-esque. Like the Undertaker, remember his American Badass and all that stuff. It was okay, but he was still the Undertaker. Wyatt's looking for that thing. You know what I mean?
That thing with the Undertaker was over from the very first time he walked into into an arena, right?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, look, the whole way they did the Bray Wyatt thing, first of all, they need to take their marketing department and give them all huge bonuses, because that was a marketing masterpiece.
Yeah.
The thing is when you have a marketing masterpiece, the actual target of the marketing needs to actually relate to the marketing itself. If you have an ad for Home Depot and it has toolboxes in the ad, and you're trying to sell toolboxes, and someone clicks on the ad and it takes you to lawnmowers, okay, the person's not going to, no matter how awesome that toolbox ad is, if it takes you to the lawnmowers page, you're probably not buying a toolbox.
Exactly.
Right? So guess what? All the brilliant marketing in the world, all the fancy ass entrances in the world. Doesn't
Mhm.
change the fact that I have yet to see Bray Wyatt wrestle a good wrestling match.
Agreed.
And there's your problem.
Agreed.
Because guess what? Guess what the WWE purports to be? Well, they're sports entertainment. They don't wrestle there. So whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But the fact is, what happens in the ring matters more than anything else. 100%. I don't care what the story is around it. Like Tony Khan was saying in that interview that he had with who was it? He does it every week. I'm blanking. Help me out here.
I don't know.
I
It's
can't
when he
remember
calls
his
in.
name.
Yeah. But I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about.
And he always does it every week. I just
Mhm.
can't remember the name. Anyway, he said this week, some stories, people, especially Eric Bischoff, were criticizing him
Yeah.
because, he has matches that don't have a big story leading
Mhm.
up to them or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes the match starts the story.
Yep. Agreed.
Sometimes you just put two random dudes in a ring and a story comes out of it. You don't always have to have some big lead up and drama going to story. I got news for you. Most New Japan matches are guys in rings and the story is
Yeah.
told in the ring and the story carries on from the ring. You know what I have yet to see? Other than backstage interviews, post matches, kind of like press conference style stuff in New Japan. You know what they don't do? Backstage segments.
Okay.
Ever. It's
Interesting.
all ring work. It's all guys cutting promos in the ring. I have yet to see a single backstage angle, which
Interesting.
is fine by me because you know what that means? More wrestling.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I
Agreed.
have sidetracked terribly. My main point was Bray Wyatt, if he can put on a good match, skeptical, then great. That's wonderful. You might actually be worth the hype they keep giving you over and over again. The problem with some things, and this is why they can go to Saudi Arabia, etc., is because there's fluff. When you put fluff around a product, you can dress up a pig, you can put lipstick on a pig. At the end of the day, it's
Still a pig.
still a pig.
Yep.
Anyway, I may have biased opinions, but they're still my opinions. Well, we have an episode of Dynamite tonight.
We do. We do.
We
But
do.
before we just get into the episode of Dynamite,
Sure.
I know on the previous show you did discuss the potential buyout of CM Punk, right? That
Mhm.
was kind of like the big news topic that was kind of trending. Everyone's reporting it. Kind of now, obviously, that Dave Meltzer kind of said it. And you did say that nothing's been confirmed, so you're still waiting, obviously.
Mhm.
But all signs kind of do point to that, and I don't see any way around that. My thoughts on that simply is that at the end of the day, I feel that the investigation has probably concluded, like what they needed to do, obviously with the firing of Base Steel and stuff like that. So all these little things are getting kind of thrown out now. It's weird. I read one of these kind of articles where it's like, oh my God, Tony Khan sides with the Bucks over CM Punk. I'm like, really, really, is that what's happening right now? Sure. I guess people can write whatever they want. Everyone's like, well, no, sorry, I shouldn't say everyone. Like Jim Cornette's like, I can't believe that they're gonna let CM Punk go, the biggest draw in the world. And some reports have said, yeah, CM Punk did bring in some crowds,
Mhm.
but not drastically change the crowds at AEW.
Is he bringing in, like I've said before, the AEW audience versus the audience that some of these other wrestlers will pull in,
Yeah,
right? The audience that made AEW, that audience that
yeah,
is the same kind of audience that goes to Japan and wants to watch Japanese wrestling, that might
exactly.
even check out Triple A or CMLL, right? The
Yeah,
kind of guys who are watching Rev Pro and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I mean, yeah, it's a small group, but those are your diehards. Those
yep,
are the guys you don't want to lose. Those are the guys that will be with you through thick and thin and will watch every damn thing you put out because we love professional wrestling, period.
yeah,
Right. And that's how AEW started,
yep,
for the love
exactly.
of professional wrestling.
Love of wrestling. Yep,
And yeah, you need to make money, you need to bring guys in and stuff. But when you would bring in certain guys, you're going to bring in a different audience.
yep.
We don't want the constantly chanting, "This is awesome," when someone does a suplex,
Yeah,
like,
that's the point,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's it. It's kind of like, as I said from the beginning, like I was never a huge CM Punk fan. I've liked his mic work. I thought he tells good stories. In the ring, obviously not my style, but I get it. It's some people will call him like a great wrestler. Just it wasn't worth it. So some people were like, oh, can you imagine the storylines AEW is possibly throwing away? Can you possibly like they could have a CM Punk versus Omega, CM Punk in the anyways, regardless, if this kind of like if he really is like the cancer in dressing room, as you said earlier, yeah, get him out. Get him out of there. It's not worth it. And really, WWE, like I don't know if you've heard these rumors that WWE are kind of thinking maybe they can bring CM Punk in. Please do go ahead. If you made the mistake once already, by all means, go ahead and do it again. But I thought this tweet from, I think his name is Michael Sidgwick. He's from one of the What Culture Wrestling shows that I watch, and he actually tweeted out yesterday. He said, "I'll miss CM Punk because he is a genius in so many ways. But if it's any consolation, he would have humiliated himself in any potential match with Kenny Omega by doing something to quote unquote prove he was remotely on his athletic level. And folks, where is the lie?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
100%. Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it in his matches. It's like, okay, he's looking rusty. It's like, but you know what it is too? He's older, he's slowed
Yeah.
down, and he's in the ring with guys like Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, and he's just not keeping up anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he was largely promo work personality, cult of
Yeah.
personality. So,
Yeah.
hey, WWE wants him. And again, I would like to point out, I gotta say it, those are complete and utter rumors. We have zero
Exactly.
evidence WWE is even remotely interested
Yeah.
in CM Punk. So let's keep that in mind. Just like, as I said, it's likely that they're in buyout talks. The signs
Mhm.
point to buyout talks,
Yeah.
but until I actually hear an official statement, yeah, I'll give you that 75-80% chance they're in buyout talks, right? I'm fine with that. We can talk about it.
Mhm.
But Punk, okay, not as good as I was hoping he would be. And look, I respect his lifestyle big time,
Yep.
right? But dude, when it comes down to you and Kenny Omega, when it comes down to you and the Young Bucks, sorry guy, have a nice day.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Next.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You are not Will Ospreay. Yes. Anyway, you're not Ren Narita, okay? Anyway. Yeah, there's another match I absolutely have to check out just under Ren Narita. No, apparently had a stellar match with Tomohiro Ishii as
Oh, okay.
his tournament qualifier, where he wins, he beats Tomohiro Ishii. But apparently this match is must see.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm
All right.
very interested to see it. I will report on it next
Next
Monday.
week. All right. Sounds good.
Anyway, okay, so we have a Dynamite to get into
Let's get
tonight.
into it.
Let's. So not surprisingly, we have an MJF promo segment on this one.
You know, ever since he came back, I'm expecting good things. I'm very, very curious on where they're going with MJF. Like, do they set it up in terms of like, oh my God, he's going to be the biggest babyface, but it's all a ploy by MJF, and he is literally still the devil, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Anytime MJF is up now, I'm kind of like, okay, what's gonna happen? So again, last week that promo between, and again, the promo everyone's talking about between MJF and Regal. I don't know how you can ever top that. To be completely honest with you, like, yes, they're great segments, but that one just like propelled this feud or whatever you want to call it to the like the like the tops right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just excited to see MJF, but yeah, I don't know
Well,
where this goes.
here's where I think it's going. You want to hear where I think it's going or where I would
Mhm.
like to see it go? Let's play a little what if.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, what if?
What if? See, we're all like, oh well, he's 100% winning the title at the pay per
Mm-hmm.
view, right? Everyone's like 100%. What if he loses,
Hmm.
right? Let's
Hmm.
say he goes in there, and there's two possible scenarios here, and I like both of them. He goes in there, completely tries to do his best without any cheating at all. He tells the story, thinks about cheating, doesn't do it, blah blah blah, and Mox beats him clean, right? Then what? Well, then you've got a scenario where he's like, I just can't win unless I cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then there's the whole confidence thing. Then maybe he needs a good coach to get him his confidence back. And Rico steps in and says, you gave it your best and, let's work on it or something. Right. Like I could see Regal becoming MJF's coach.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
It's possible. The other option is he cheats to win or tries to cheat and still loses. Okay. So he cheats, still loses. And now it's like, like he got desperate, cheated at the last moment, just turned it, and we still continue to get his redemption story. It's just
Mhm.
much longer term now, right? Like, let it breathe. Let us really want him to get the title. It's still a little iffy to me, right? He's not as big a babyface as he could be if they give this a little more time with a little more story and push it just a little further, right? So either scenario, I think that it's a little too early yet to be throwing the belt on him. I got a feeling that
Mm.
they're going to because it's the easy way out. The
Yeah.
fans want it, therefore do it. I'm far more intrigued by a good story, and I'm hopefully we'll see what the promo's like tonight. And hopefully they move in an interesting direction that's just not obvious to me, because that's what
I
I
agree.
really want out of this. This could be one of the greatest wrestling angles of all time if
Yep.
they do it right.
Nope. I totally agree with you. You know what? It's now that MJF is back, he's obviously getting paid. His
Mhm.
entire like, yeah, he's still the MJF, but his entire like the way he talks about AEW and stuff like that now, you can see that he's playing nice because Tony Khan is now his best friend, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm still very curious, but yeah, I can see him doing that kind of like, yeah, let's play this long game. Let's see how this works. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
Yep. 100%. We have Bryan Danielson taking on Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, this match is interesting because remember, this is the whole like again, the Blackpool Combat Club versus JS. Bryan Danielson versus Sammy. Now, I like Sammy's wrestling, obviously, my kind of wrestling, right? I also do like Danielson because he can move with these guys. So I'm very
Mhm.
interested. This one I'm calling potentially the dark horse of the night. Because I think it can go either way. It can either be a really good match or it may fall apart. Who knows what's going to happen?
Mhm.
But yeah, I think this is going to be I think regardless, I think it's going to be a good match because these two guys. I don't. When was the last time you saw Sammy put on a bad match or Danielson put on a bad match?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So two guys who put on great matches. It kind of feels like it's an easy kind of, yeah, it's going to be really good. The only thing that can possibly throw it to the side is interference and anything else that may come out of it, right? So
Right.
that's why I'm kind of like hesitant in like saying it's gonna be really great, just knowing the storylines that are going on here.
Mhm. And of course, it depends on how you do interference. I mean, you know, you that the match that I saw between Momo Watanabe and
Mhm.
Mayu Iwatani, there was tons of interference in that match. It was
Mm,
just constant, right? But
yeah,
that was the story was Mayu fighting constantly against all the outside interference, etc., to finally win the match, right? So I mean, that's an example where outside interference actually worked to build a match.
yeah, fair enough.
Whereas I think the kind of interference we get in this match would actually trash the match. So I think you're right. But I agree with you completely. Potential dark horse match of the night.
Hmm.
Two phenomenal wrestlers. They can go like nobody's business. You know, this could be a dark, but I'm not going to call it my match of the night.
Yep, fair enough.
Next up we have Jericho and Garcia. Speaking of JAS versus Blackpool Combat Club, we've got Jericho and Garcia taking on Castagnoli, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, this like I'm very excited to see Garcia and Yuta again. You know what I mean? Like go like
Mhm.
like these two young studs, like I, they're so good in the ring. Jericho Jericho is we've talked about this. Jericho who puts in puts on some really great matches, but then he kind of like sometimes just calls it in. You know what I mean? So give it, and maybe we should give him a pass because this guy's been doing it for such a long time. He's in his 50s. Let's again,
He's a year
let's
older
remember
than me,
that.
dude.
Yeah, let's remember this.
Mhm.
Castagnoli, I'm not the biggest like I like to like I like Cesaro slash Claudio Castagnoli. I was never a huge fan of his wrestling. That's like when he replaced Danielson in that match at Forbidden Door. Um, I actually thought Zack Sabre Jr. was absolutely amazing in that match, to be completely honest with you. Like Zack Sabre Jr., I was like, who the hell is this guy? You've been talking about him a lot, but I was like, I don't know
Mhm.
this person. Yeah, and he stole that match for me. Absolutely stole that match. So I'm interested in this match. I think it's going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be the best match of the night. I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, it's gonna be entertaining. You know, we've got sports entertainment going on in this match. So yeah, I mean we've got Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho. We've got, you know, it's gonna be fun. Um I don't think it's going to be a match of the night either. I think it will be a good, solid, entertaining match that will serve its purpose on the card. They can't all be match of the nights.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't think it's going to be phenomenal.
Agreed.
So, next up, we have FTR taking on Swerve in Our Glory for the number one contender position for
Speaking
the
of
tag team
match of
titles.
the night, I'm going to choose this as my my match of the night
Mm-hmm.
because you know like as I don't bet against the elites, I'm not going to bet against Swerve in Our Glory and FDR. Come on, FDR is absolutely amazing. So I actually don't know where they're going with this one. To be completely honest with you, I'm looking forward for a great match. I wonder if Swerve's gonna do anything that's gonna actually make him win, which Keith Lee may not like because he's still like a little goody two shoe kind of character here. But no, these two teams, like, they are absolutely amazing. And here's the thing: these two teams, and this is no slight on the Acclaimed. These two teams are better than the Acclaimed in all aspects, right? So I mean, like, I am excited for this match. This is going to be my match of the night. And yeah, I couldn't tell you who I think is going to win. I feel like FTR is going to win, but I feel like Swerve's earning their rematch so they can fight them at the pay per view. So
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
Right. So if I have one also my match of the night. Maybe it's just because I have recency bias, having watched FTR versus Aussie Open. I'm like, oh my God, how good are these guys? But
Mhm.
anyway, just, man, like, tag team match of the year. Anyway, this match, it just screams match of the night to me. Two amazing tag teams, so much good chemistry, so much potential for different types of moves, different styles, different things that could happen, different spots they could set up. It looks so good. And you're right, both these teams are better than the Acclaim, but of course I'll
Mhm.
call a lot of teams better than the Acclaim. Yeah, so both these teams are better than the Acclaimed. So I have two scenarios for you. One, Swerve in Our Glory is going to win, but they're going to win because Swerve cheats.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2, FTR wins. And then a certain tag team's music hits, and they're like, how can you still call yourselves the number one contenders when you haven't faced us?
you know, um, Again, I don't want to overhype myself because as we heard, as you advised me as well, there are reports of potential imminent returns to AEW. Kind of aligning with a lot of stories that have been covered recently. That's a pretty awesome storyline there. Like, I think that's a pretty awesome storyline. Like, think about that. Like, that would be the top tag team, the best in the world. I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended, the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Challenging probably the second best tag team in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which would, be amazing. But I have, what if, let's say Swerve in Our Glory, they do win due to cheating. They win. It's fine. FTR is kind of beside themselves. What's next? What if that music hits still and they
Right.
come out and they say, hey, you guys are carrying those belts around, those multiple belts. Like, who do you think you are? Hey, any one of those those work for me.
Yep.
But yeah, again, where is Rampage being held today, Bill? Sorry, Rampage. Where's Dynamite being held today?
That is a very good question. I
Well,
usually know
well,
that off the top of my head, don't I?
according to Sean Rossap, it's very, very close to North Carolina. So, again,
Oh,
there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
things
yeah.
coming out.
North
North
Carolina. Did you know
Carolina.
you can buy really, really large homes in North Carolina for only $1 million? Like
I,
5 bedrooms, 4 baths kind of thing?
of course, because it's not Toronto.
Exactly.
Anything, guess what? Anywhere outside of Toronto, you can afford living. You
Exactly.
can
I'm
afford
not
living
thinking
for,
of moving to North Carolina. You can get land and beautiful homes in North Carolina.
and you
Who
can be,
knew?
yeah, it would be amazing. But no, I'm with you with in terms of, like, very curious. This entire thing could be like the segment match of the night, right?
Hmm.
We already calling it match of the night.
Right.
A lot
Exactly.
of things can happen. So hey,
Yes.
let's see what happens here.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm stoked.
Mhm.
Next up, we have Riho taking on Jamie Hayter.
You know what? This is gonna be a good match. This is gonna show us why. And by the way, I heard your comments about Thunder Rosa and all the stuff. This is going to show us why. And just also on that, just I love the little slight. Maybe get some wins under your belt before you want to change it to the. I was like, wow, Thunder Rosa, thank you, bring the heat, man. This, like, where was this before? But yeah, no, Riho versus Jamie Hayter, like.
Mhm.
Jamie Hayter tweeted, "Did you miss your friend Jamie?" to Riho the other day because like, they've known each other for a long time, obviously wrestling in
Yep.
Japan.
Mhm.
This is gonna show what two really, really good wrestlers, I'm not saying female wrestlers can do,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Now, am I saying that this potentially could be another dark horse? Yeah, I'm looking at all the matches on the card tonight. You know what? Some of these matches could steal the show.
Mhm.
And I'm not putting it past Riho and Jamie Hayter because it's two different styles. Hayter more of the powerhouse, hard hitting, and Riho kind of the high flyer kind of person. But hey, sometimes like if you have good chemistry, these matches really, really work well. So, I'm saying this is probably going to be one of the better women's wrestling matches we've seen in a while. But yeah, no, I am I'm very happy to see a lot of these matches tonight.
Yeah, no, I am too, because you know who we're not getting in this match? Tony Storm.
How do you know that? Maybe obviously Britt's gonna come down and help, and then Tony
Oh,
Storm will
yeah, I'm
show
sure,
up.
this match is going to break into shenanigans. I think that's going
Mm-hmm.
to be the one problem. But Rio versus Jamie Hayter, this is like a dream match.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see these two go at it.
Yep.
Right. It's just I can't. I mean, I watched Dark this week already. I should probably save my comments on it. But Rio takes on why is my brain not functioning tonight, people? I have no idea. But anyway, she takes on another former Stardom opponent of hers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're both fighting in Dark.
Oh
so
wow. Okay.
so yeah. And let's just say I enjoyed the match. So I'm quite looking forward to what Riho can do here with Jamie Hayter tonight. This could be another dark horse, absolutely. Remember what I told you last week? I was going to go check out a Tony Storm match,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saving that to talk with you about tonight. So
Okay.
yeah, you got 2 minutes. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit
Do
about
it.
Tony Storm's. Okay, it's her third highest rated match on Cage Match. It's an
Okay.
8 point something, but it's only, I
Okay.
think it's 8.4 because it's only a 0.05 difference from her top match. So, I mean, we're talking minuscule difference between this match and her highest rated match. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Tony Storm versus Io Shirai in Stardom from May 14th, 2017. Now, I watched this. Okay. Io Shirai is an amazing, amazing wrestler.
She is.
She
She
is like,
still is.
yeah,
Yeah.
stellar, absolutely stellar. Do you know who was okay in this match? Tony Storm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I look, there was some good solid grappling. Io Shirai though, her holds, I mean, everything she does just looks spot on, crisp, amazing submissions, suplexes, springboard. She does it all, right? Um, but Tony's got the hip attack. I mean, she did one outside in a chair with Io seated in a chair that looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
She did a terrible side slam on the floor with Io. They looked
Mm-hmm.
like she literally set her down. It was bad. Her face washes were just like she was missing the face, or she was barely touching her. It was bad. All right. Um, and when she was in control of the match got slow. And Io Shirai works at such a quick pace, and her selling is so good. And there was a long injury angle in it. It it was if I mean, it had some really good spots, but most of those were because of Io Shirai.
You'll try.
Now,
Okay.
Tony Storm looked better than she does in an AW. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give her that much. Could some of that have been Io Shirai? Maybe. But you know what? She did okay on her own. A little slower, I mean, not 8 out of 10 worth here. I mean, come on, people. Like, if you're giving it that score, it better be because of Io Shirai,
Yeah.
right? But the match itself, I still have not seen why Tony Storm is this amazing wrestler. She did this series of like just hip bumps, as if her
Oh
hips
no.
somehow are these like shotgun style weapons that destroy anything they hit. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, are you a comedy wrestler now? Because
It,
I'm not sure. That seems more like a comedy wrestler gimmick to me. But
yeah.
yeah,
Have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Um, I've heard the name. I'm not.
Yeah. So basically, the Mandela effect is basically people remembering things differently than they actually happen, right?
Mhm.
So, for example, recently they did a kind of a show where people are remembering wrestling things different than they were.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So people remember the whole Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty breakup, right? They
Mhm.
remember that, but the way they remember it is Shawn Michaels super kicking Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window.
Right.
Now, I'm a fan of wrestling. I
Mhm.
remember that. I vividly remember that
I
segment,
saw it live.
right?
Well, I mean, not in
Yeah.
the arena live, but I
Yeah, you
saw it on TV
watch it on
live. Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now I remember, yes, Shawn Michaels did super kick Marty Jannetty, and then he picked him up and smashed him through the glass. He
Mhm.
didn't super kick him. So it's one of those things where I wonder if people are thinking that she is as good as she was or is, and just not remembering it properly. Because the whole Britt Baker commentary. Oh, I can't believe that uh, that she had to carry Britt Baker through that match. Are you? Did we watch the same match? Really?
Exactly.
Like
Mhm.
I'm starting to think that this the entire wrestling universe is experiencing the Mandela effect right now,
Well,
and
not all
they
of them.
witnessed something different than we all than the two of us witnessed apparently,
Right.
right?
I have definitely seen comments though going through her cage match of people going, I've never seen her do anything that was impressive. You know, there's definitely people out there
Yeah,
who agree with us. We are
yeah,
not alone.
yeah.
I just don't think she's that good. I don't think she's terrible.
No, no,
She's better than a lot of women I've seen in the ring. She's
but
got
she's
some good
not
strikes.
not worth the
Oh,
hype though.
she did Okada's reverse neck breaker in this match. That
Mhm.
should be her finishing move. Oh my god, did it look good? She actually pulled it off in Io Shirai, and it looked so good.
So you're saying that her current move, she should
Hmm.
stop using it.
Yes, the Storm
What
Zero needs to go.
Storm Zero needs to go. Okay, got it,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, yeah,
That terrible,
yeah.
terrible pile driver needs to go. Yeah.
Just take a page out of Okada's book, do the Okada neck breaker, make that your finishing move, and everything will look much. Because my god, it
Everything
looked like
begins.
she killed Io Shirai.
Fair enough.
She didn't win. The match actually went to a time limit draw.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
which was fine. I mean, it was good, not great, but anyway, that was that match. So that brings us then, after our slight digression into Toni Storm and her matches, to the main event of the evening, which is Jon Moxley as the champion taking on Penta El Zero Miedo for the AEW World Championship. A match I
Yeah,
have dubbed as the as if Penta is winning it
yeah,
match.
yeah. One of those matches where we know the outcome regardless. I'm very curious how this match is gonna go because unfortunately, uh, with what happened to Hangman Page last week, Mox like throughout the beatdown, he still looked pretty good. That cutter out of nowhere, I was like, holy crap, where did that come from? Right.
Yep.
So Mox is capable of going. So I'm very and Penta being a showman as well. Don't know how well that's gonna be with Mox, right? Mox is probably just gonna
Yeah.
clobber him. Penta is, but Penta hits hard as
Oh
too.
yeah.
So let's remember that. Interested in this match. This match again. This is going to be a great match, right? Like
Hmm.
I have zero confidence that this is going to be any type of botch or fail or anything, or this would have any type of like interference because MJF's already declared where he's going to fight Mox. There isn't going to be any the Lucha Brothers aren't going to interfere. Phoenix is not going to run down and interfere for no reason, right? So yeah, I'm very curious about this match. Like another dark horse. This match. What if this match steals it, right?
Yeah. I think the only thing is that in order for it to really steal, because I'm not sure about the FTR Swerve outcome. Either
Mm-hmm,
team could win that match and it would
mm-hmm,
still be a good
mm-hmm.
story. So I don't know who's winning that one.
Yeah,
We all know who's winning this one, right?
exactly,
John
exactly.
Moxley is not losing the belt to Penta. Okay.
Yeah.
As good as Penta is, right? As awesome as he can be in a singles match. And I think these guys are going to put on a really good match, but it would
Mhm.
have to be like a match of the year candidate to be able to claim match of the night tonight because we know what the outcome is.
My question to you, Bill. Where do you think this match is situated on the card tonight?
Main event.
You think it's gonna be main event? Okay.
If
I
it's
mean,
if it's not, if the FTR Swerve match is main event, then then we know, right?
then we kind of know things may happen tonight. But
Yep.
yeah, we're not gonna get overhyped again. I'm not gonna fall. You remember how long I waited for Kenny Omega to come back, and
Hmm.
then he came back, and I was
And then CM
experiencing
Punk ruined your
euphoria.
life.
And then
Yeah.
CM Punk decided to ruin my life.
Mhm.
The fallout from All Out, right? That's all it's
Mhm.
gonna be remembered as now. Yeah, we're all sick and tired of talking about it,
Yeah,
right?
me
We're
too.
over it now. So I'm just, as you said, I'm ready for good wrestling again.
Oh
But
yeah.
not that we haven't been getting it. I'm just ready for elite wrestling.
Yes. Yes. Like, and in this case, we mean the elite, not
The
just
elite
elite
wrestling.
wrestlers. Because man,
Yeah,
there are tons of elite
there
wrestlers
are.
out there. Just go watch Will Ospreay versus Shota
Oh
Umino.
man, I miss Will Ospreay. I miss
He's
him.
so good. So good. Anyway. Yep. So that is our card tonight. We are now going to go watch it.
Ooh.
I'm assuming you're ready to go watch it.
Let's go watch it.
Okay.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Let's do it. We will, as always, be back soon, guys. And that was Dynamite.
I would
And
say that you're right. That show was, in fact, Dynamite.
yes, Dynamite, baby. Of course, now we're dating ourselves because we're making references to like a 70s TV show, but that's okay. Anyway.
There are commercials. I hear people saying it all the time. So,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Anyway, but then again, those people will think they got the saying from commercials.
oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So tonight's Dynamite comes to us from Norfolk, Virginia, at the Chartaway Arena. We have Excalibur, Taz, and Tony on commentary, and we open things off immediately with Jericho's music hitting. And we get Jericho and Daniel Garcia taking on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club. The crowd is chanting for Yuta, enough for Castagnoli to point at him on the way to the ring and sort of say, hey, you guys are cheering for this guy. Anyway, early on, Yuta smacks Garcia, gives him a standing senton, dual hammer and anvil elbows from both Castagnoli and Yuta until the JAS. They came down with the whole JAS, so they are interfering on the outside. They pull their members out of the ring. Garcia reverses a suplex from Castagnoli into a sleeper, but then he escapes a giant swing attempt with some up kicks. Hager's interference actually allows Jericho at one point to drop Claudio to the outside with his springboard drop kick, sending it into a commercial break. They work over Castagnoli for a while then until, of course, you get the big hot tag spot to Yuta. Splash to Jericho, takes down Garcia, big Samoan suplex for 2. Then they both tag. Jericho gets a code breaker on Claudio for 2. Yuta takes out the entire JAS with a tope suicida. This gives Claudio the opportunity to put the big swing and an airplane spin on Jericho and Garcia, respectively, at the same time. At this point, the two of them go outside the ring. They wipe out the entire JAS except Jericho. Claudio gets back in the ring, nails Jericho with the neutralizer for the 3 count.
Earlier tonight, or today, I should say, I said I'm not a big fan of Claudio Castagnoli's wrestling.
Yes.
and I was like, but I gave credit to that to Yuta and Garcia. I thought this match was gonna be good, and this match was very, very good. And you know what? It was Claudio that impressed me the most in this match when he ran roughshod, like when he just did the spin and to both Jericho and Garcia at the same time. Then he jumped out of the ring. Then he knocked over like he took out the entirety of the JAS and then got the pin. I was like, wow, that actually was pretty impressive. I must say, this guy is just absolutely insane. Willie Yuta, always awesome. I kind of was like I know that Claudio they're kind of pushing him and stuff like that, and they played his music. I kind of like Wheeler Yuta's music better than Claudio's. It kind of reminds me like FDR and stuff like that, like video game music. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this match. The interference they had was kind of like warranted to kind of show the power of Claudio and Yuta. Like they took out the entire JS by themselves, those two. Right. So I like how the storyline, and we'll talk about this after, is carrying on. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this match.
Oh yeah, no, this match was great. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with this match. This is what, remember what I was talking to you earlier about the
Mhm.
outside interference being part of the story,
Mhm.
right? With like the Momo Watanabe and Mayu Iwatani. See, I'm getting it. Their match and how the outside interference was all just part of the story, and it helped build up how strong Iwatani was by being able to overcome all of them. Same thing here. It's like these guys watch the Stardom matches and went, you know what, we got to do something like that where we get all this outside interference, but it makes us look strong in the end. Because Yuta and Castagnoli, they just look like powerhouses at the
They
end of this
did.
match. Like they took out the whole JAS. Screw interference, we got y'all guys, right? It was a great show. Lots of good moves in this match. Great show by all those. You're right, Castagnoli, man, he was the star of this match.
It was.
Right? I mean, he took that long beat down during the commercial
No.
break, and then he comes back and does all these big spots. I mean, the guy's look. We haven't given him much credit recently
No.
because I think part of it is he's surrounded by a bunch of young guys that are just so amazing. And he hangs out with John Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. True.
But on his own, when he gets a chance to shine, he's pretty darn good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he impressed me in this match too. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with this match. Solid match, good storytelling. This was a great way to open the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, guys. Appreciate it. As I wrote down just under the match, this was dominance.
Yep.
We go straight to the back with the hardest working woman in professional wrestling, Renee Paquette, who apparently is just everywhere tonight. She
Yep.
was reminding me of Mean Gene back in the day when he was just 10 interviews a minute. So anyway, Renee's back with Bryan Danielson. And Renee says, well, hey, you're going to have your first match tonight since losing in the Ring of Honor championship match. And how are you feeling? And Bryan Danielson says, frustrated. I'm frustrated I lost to Jericho. I'm frustrated Garcia turned his back on me. I'm frustrated that Yuta back-talked me. A lot of people hate Sammy Guevara. I have no problem with him. And then Yuta shows up and says, look, I'm glad you're finally angry. I'm glad you're finally mad. Listen, we just beat Jericho and Garcia. I'm a grown man. And Danielson interrupts him, after everything I've done for you, this is how you talk to me. And Claudio's like, stop. So basically we're having like it's funny that Yuta says he's a grown man, but we seem to have like a child squabble here on the playground. Claudio's like, stop, it's a wonderful night. Look, I just beat the Ring of Honor world champion, which is almost rubbing that in Bryan Danielson's face.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to beat Sammy, and after the match we'll all sit down and we'll discuss it like adults.
And then Danielson walks away saying, "Happy birthday, Yuta," because it's his birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday, Yuta.
Yeah, and do you know who they wished happy birthday to on the AEW Instagram account today?
Who?
Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
How they did that.
Do you know they didn't wish happy birthday to today, even though it was also his birthday?
Who?
CM Punk. I'm just saying, they didn't wish happy birthday to, as we mentioned last week, Kenny Omega. No, they didn't wish it to CM Punk either. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, this is good because it set up the upcoming match. Yuta kind of calling out his mentor, right? It's interesting. Danielson, I always say give Danielson some time to talk, man. I like when this guy speaks. He's so friggin' hilarious. And trust me, throughout this entire throughout this entire Dynamite, I was laughing so much and some things that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
So like I appreciated this little spot because it did build up the match, and I like the fact that Danielson's like, yeah, I have no problem with Sammy Guevara except for his vlog and his
vlog, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he's like, I think he's great, and I like how they're still pushing these young guys. But no, this spot was good because now I'm wondering what's gonna happen with the Blackpool Combat Club, because a lot of things happen tonight with the Blackpool Combat Club, right?
Yes, very interesting.
And we'll get to that. So yeah, I thought this was good.
Yes, exactly. And then it happened. I heard a voice. I heard like voices.
Yes.
As it cut to a commercial, I'm like, wait, I know those voices. Mm-hmm. It was the Young Bucks. And they went to this picture of them. And as you're listening to them cut a piece of like a line about them being, an amazing tag team or something like, I can't remember the exact line because I was
rewatched
stunned.
it. I rewatched it. Yeah, because I was sent as well. So I rewound it and rewatched it, and it starts off, that voice you heard was Kenny Omega.
Okay, so it's Kenny Omega.
It started. It was the the promo he cut when he came back, the 8-minute promo. Yes. And he said that the three of us, when we first came in here, we said we wanted to start something. So
they spliced that promo throughout this thing, yeah. And with each line, you get a different picture of them, and they just
fading
disappear
away
out of the scene. They just fade away
like
as if they're not in it. Yeah, exactly, like the snap, only with more color and less dust. And then this goes through a number of scenes. Like even him and Kenny Omega and Don Callis wiped out. The Bucks wiped out. The three of them together wiped out. All right. And then you get the AEW logo and the E evaporates, right? And then it just cuts to the commercials.
This was friggin' awesome. When this started, I got chills. I'm like, wait a minute, you're right. I was like, I recognize that voice. And I was like, is something happening? Did they make a mistake and they're playing this? Because again, it wasn't referenced afterwards at all, but it plays and the promos play, and as they're talking, it starts fading away. It just starts ending. And it starts out, you see Hangman, and he's like, you see these three phones and Hangman in front of it, and they're both talking, and then they start fading away. This is awesome because at the end, you're right, the E fades away, but then the entire All Elite Wrestling logo evaporates. So I'm like, now my theory, they're coming back pissed, right? Because you got to work this into the storyline.
Oh yeah, of course.
Are they going to try to burn down All Elite Wrestling? Because something happens tonight that we'll talk about at the end of the night, which has me strongly believing the bad guys are coming in, and the bad guys are going to be the Elite.
Yes. I don't think you're wrong, because the way they set this up, it was basically them sending a message saying, you guys got rid of us.
Yep.
You forgot about us. But we're the Elite in All Elite Wrestling, and without us, there is no AEW, right? And of course, that will be contradicted by guys like Jericho or John Moxley or
any of the originals.
or
any of the originals. Yeah.
Any of the originals, right? So I think we're in for a very interesting return, which wouldn't surprise me if we now start, because, you know, they probably remember what I was saying earlier about Bray Wyatt and the marketing, right? And how when you've got the picture of the toolbox, it better not lead to a page with a lawnmower, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This is like an ad for a set of like the best diamond rings you could ever possibly buy in your life. And it leads straight to the best ad that is like this amazing advertisement that you just can't help but press buy now on it, right? That's what this is. This is that. This is going to be, I bet you money, we will not see the Elite till Full Gear.
I think you're right. I think,
and it's going to be these little vignettes and stuff. Yeah, maybe they're stealing a page out of the WWE's book. But you know what? If you're going to rip off good marketing, rip it off. Who cares, right? Yeah. Look, they've got MJF running around with a casino chip that he can cash in, okay?
Exactly.
Like, but I mean, what are we going to do? Okay, ooh, they're ripping someone off. Well, the WWE took the ladder match from Stampede Wrestling. Should we be calling them out for that? Oh, you ripped off the every ladder match you got's tainted because you stole it from Stampede Wrestling. Like, there's a line, you know. If somebody does something, good marketing techniques are good marketing techniques. This is a good marketing technique.
This is great.
Like I said, the difference is we have diamond rings and not a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Unless Matt Hardy's riding the lawnmower, because then that's a little.
No, this was great. This was like this promo was like, I kind of considered it a promo. Like when I saw it, I was like, wow, they're back.
Yeah,
they're back.
chills.
Like they're back. I could not. Like the smile on my face. I was like, what? I texted you. I'm like, what am I watching right now?
Right.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Just like Jake Peralta listening to the Backstreet Boys, I got literal chills.
Literal chills.
Literal chills. That's right. So yeah, no, this was no offense, everybody else who performed on the card, this may have been one of my favorite moments of the night. So,
and it's anyway. Like the only weird part is that there was no reference to it. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't even Excalibur coming back and saying that was odd. Like nothing, no reference, as if like the Young Bucks had hijacked the truck outside like this commercial and no one else saw it.
Wait, are they coming back like Retribution?
If they keep playing with lights, and
yes, exactly. They're gonna play with lights and try to beat people down, but get beaten down all the time. That'll be the Elite's new comeback, right?
Yeah. What a great little segment there.
Then we really could start calling this WCW 2000.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Well, after that, oh my god, moment, we then get the Jericho Appreciation Society backstage with Tony. So Tony gives Renee a slight break here, and Matt Menard is pissed, and he's like screaming, "Can you believe what happened out there? Blackpool Cheater Club. They make me sick to my stomach." And Jericho's like, "How can Claudio get a victory when there's a baseball bat in the ring?" Which I just died laughing. Now the JAS is fired up, and not just against Ring of Honor champions. We're going to take on like their tag teams, their TV title, their women's title. I want any champion, open challenge to any former Ring of Honor champion. And Sammy's like, "That's right. I'm going to put on a show like no one's ever seen before. I'm going to beat Bryan Danielson."
Yeah, no, good. This is again hilarious. My only little thing was the fact that the audio was cutting in and out for like an Excalibur reference afterwards too. Yeah, so yeah, this is funny because yeah, now any champion from Ring of Honor. So I Christopher Daniels is probably going to be facing off Jericho soon, and like it could be anybody, right? Like who's fought in Ring of Honor.
It can't be anybody. It's not going to be Kevin Steen.
Well, sorry, non-WWE people, I should say.
Okay.
Non-current WWE people. Yeah. Any other potential Ring of Honor champions who are available? Yeah. I listen. I know this has been done before. I'm enjoying this. Like you want to put attention on Ring of Honor, you put the belt on the right person. Chris Jericho is going to bring all viewers to see what he does next. The Ring of Dishonor and everything like that. People are going to be eventually cheering for that one person to come in and beat him for that belt, right? So yeah, I thought this promo was great.
Right. So I mean, we're gonna see him taking on like Deonna Purrazzo, right?
Hey, he said anybody. He said a women's champion as well,
he
right?
did. Yeah, he absolutely did. So yeah, no, this was great. I laughed. That's what I wanted of my JAS promos. I want them to be funny and ridiculous. And the fact that, he was like the Blackpool Cheaters Club and they had a baseball bat in the ring when they got the pin. Oh, yeah. Good job, guys. You continue to amuse the heck out of me. So that's awesome. Then whose house? Swerve's house. And Swerve in Our Glory comes out to take on FTR. And okay, confession, when they showed the guns at first, I legit didn't recognize them and honestly thought it was just a couple of like fans cosplaying FTR.
Oh, I was just I recognize them immediately. I was just laughing. I'm like, they're so ridiculous.
Yep. Like I didn't get a great look at them, and I'm just like, oh well, that's cool. There's some really big FTR fans in the crowd, and then they showed them again, and I realized it was the guns. But so both teams come out, and then the Acclaim ruined everything by coming out and sitting on the stage. And that was fine. I mean, they want a good look at the match. Clearly, they don't understand something. Backstage, there's a monitor and it is set up. And if you go and stand sideways to the monitor and watch the match, that is apparently the absolute best way to watch a match. So I'm going to assume that they just didn't realize that and someone needs to have a word with them. Anyway, so by the way, credit where it's due before we even get going. That AEW shirt that has like the logo on the front with the scissors as the A, that's by far the best Acclaim shirt they've come up with because it's subtle.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I saw it. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. That's clever.
Yeah, you don't have to wear a dumb, stupid saying on your shirt to support the Acclaimed. You could be supporting hairdressers in the East and West, right? So anyway. So Swerve opens up with a great sequence on Cash, ending in a standing Hurricane Rana, and he does a little dance, which was cool. He always does all this stuff with style. He has such a different style in the ring. I love it. And then Swerve with a sudden tag to Lee after a Dax suplex, and Lee kind of gives him a why did you tag me look. But anyway, FTR tries the big rig on Lee, and this is sort of an ongoing story in this. They want to be able to do the big rig, and they keep trying it on Lee. Lee's very heavy. And it results in a double cross body to both of them, sending it to commercial, where Lee dominates the commercial, his size just being way too much for FTR. Cash finally gets a hot tag out to Dax. Dax chops both Swerve and Lee. He knocks Lee out of the ring with chops. I mean, if you heard my comments on that match on the weekend with Aussie Open and FTR, there were chops that were literally splitting open Dax's chest. Anyway, so There's a pin sequence by Swerve and Dax, and with multiple 2 counts, FTR gets a German suplex to a power bomb to a bridge dragon combo on Swerve for 2 that just looked awesome. Swerve manages to fight out of FTR's corner, tags Lee. There's double kicks to Cash, tossed power bomb to Cash for 2. Cash gets out of the Swerve stomp, then a Hurricane Rana to Lee, then a slingshot power bomb by Lee that gets countered into a Hurricane Rana that gets countered into another slingshot power bomb. This one actually hits on Swerve, but Lee breaks it up. And there's a headbutt to Cash for 2. Lee takes Cash to the turnbuckle. Dax tags in, sets Lee up. Cash tags in. There's a superplex to Lee. They kind of did this spot in the Aussie Open match too, but they had 3 people doing jumps, which was kind of cool. There's a superplex to Lee, then Cash does a splash from the next turnbuckle for 2, and I just kept thinking, well, where's the third guy to like throw the cool bit in the middle? But big rig attempt then, and again couldn't get him out. Swerve takes up Cash. They set up for the power bomb, and they set Cash up for the power bomb. Dax comes in. They finally get the big rig on Lee, and Swerve breaks it up. Lee misses Cash, then takes out Swerve with a big elbow. There's a low blow to Cash while the ref is distracted. Lee hits him with a big bang catastrophe, and they take the match.
Yeah, I know. I had tons and tons of fun with this match. I love this match. But I didn't give this match my match of the night though. But again, I love this match. It was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Now, the outcome was not. We had said we can see Swerve cheating in this match. He did perfectly. He did it. Didn't expect the Gun Club to be the one to kind of help them out, but not really help them. Just like they just hate FTR apparently. So that's why they tagged. Kind of odd that the champions did nothing while this was happening. But hey, well, who am I to judge here? But yeah, no, this was a fun, fast. Like I love the Swerve in Our Glory, and you can tell they're eventually gonna break up. But man, they're so good. They're so fun to watch. And FDR, they're just FDR, right? So like I thoroughly enjoyed this match. And after the first match having so much fun, I had tons of fun in this match as well. And I was like, wow, this is so far has been a pretty great Dynamite, right? Yep. But yeah, no, I thought this was fantastic.
Oh yeah, me too. Great match. Also not my match of the night, even though I had called it earlier as well. Yep. This would be my 1B match. Same. Yeah, absolutely 1B. I loved this match. The pace was excellent. There was like lots of good back and forth. Both sides got a lot of their stuff in. There were some good moments. There was some good storytelling, the whole trying to get Lee up for the big rig and stuff, and they couldn't, and Lee just dominating with his size, Swerve being all sneaky and stuff. I mean, they all just played their roles. So, and I mean, let's not count out Dax and Cash. Those guys are tough SOBs, right? And they pull it off well. They're just such a like tough as nails tag team that can go. Yeah. So agreed. It's just so much fun watching them wrestle. So yeah, great match, interesting outcome. And I mean, after the match, we then got, the FTR gets jumped by the Guns again. They're beating them down to the Acclaimed, comes out and makes the save.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, exactly. I guess the Acclaimed and not the Acclaimed, sorry, FTR and the Guns are gonna have issues. But we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, because again, I'm not sure what's happening right now.
If that's what's going on with FTR, then that's a waste of FTR. So I mean, really, you're gonna have a match with the Guns? Like, who cares? Throw that on like Dark or something and have them beat them. End of story.
Yeah, and then the Acclaimed, I guess they're like, I mean, they came to help, but like, I guess we now know it's set up for the rubber match. No, right? Is it the rubber match? No. They face them. No, it is the rubber match because
it is the rubber match. Yeah, for sure. So they're 1-1 right now, and of course we know the Acclaimed will keep their belts
for the rubber match. So yeah, that's going to be a great match as well. But yeah, it did its job. It continued the story. I just don't know what everyone else involved in this is going to do. So
enjoy your belts now, Acclaimed. The Bucks are coming.
That's right. The Young Bucks are coming.
We have Renee in the back again, this time with Saraya. And Renee and Saraya are both like, hey, we're in AEW. That was the essential totality of their conversation. Britt then interrupts them. Everyone squabbles, and Renee's like, if you want to talk, we'll do it properly. God. And that was it.
Yeah, this is more sports entertainment, WWE style stuff. It's like, what do you mean if you want to talk right now? There's a microphone. Get it
Yes.
out. Like the whole Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta discussion last week was like what, a minute,
Hmm.
maybe minute and a half. Like, what's the big deal? Just have them talk with you on the
Right.
mic. You don't have to have the segment. Anyways, it just seems silly to me. Like,
Yes.
let's do it properly. Anyways, I don't.
A
So, so
big
so so
sit
then
down
so then
interview. Yeah.
what's the point of the backstage promos or backstage interviews if you're not going to have interview? Anyways, it contradicting itself. So
No, no, this is just Renee forcing her model of
yeah,
interview on the rest of the. Yeah,
it's
that's entirely
Renee.
what it is. She's like, the only way you guys can really be interviewed is if we go and sit down back here in some comfy chairs.
Figures
Maybe she just
Renee.
wants comfy chairs.
Maybe,
Hmm.
maybe.
It's possible. Well, then tonight we then have Renee on the stage because she then immediately just walks out on the stage. I'm guessing, introduces MJF. There's a huge reaction for MJF, who then says, "The devil has arrived in Virginia." And I've got one question. Have we got any devil worshippers in the house? Apparently, there are many devil worshippers in Virginia. Now, Renee, what do you have for me? And Renee says, "Well, tonight Moxley's putting his title on the line. If he retains, you'll be facing him. How do you feel?" So MJF does this John Moxley imitation. He walks like him. He like cuts a promo like Moxley, and then he says, "With all due respect, when I think of Jonathan, only one word comes to mind: mid." Last week, when I said I was going to earn it, I meant it, but I may have gotten out of control. When I said clean, I meant relatively clean. I'm still MJF. But one thing got under my skin last week when William Regal said he didn't use the brass knuckles because he needed to, implying I needed my ring to win. So I promise I will not use my Dynamite diamond ring when I go for the title because I don't need it. All I need to be successful is a grudge, and I've got many of those. I've mashed all my grudges down deep and turned them into a chip on my shoulder. When I face Moxley, I'm fighting every single scumbag who told me I wasn't good enough. I'm going to shove this chip down their throats when I become the AEW champion of the world because I'm a generational talent. And then he gets interrupted by Stokely. And he goes, Max, we won't lay a hand on Mox, right? And gives him like the wink wink. MJF then knocks the mic out of his hand and says, "We'll cut Stokely some slack. Listen, I want Mox at 110%. You don't go near him, you don't look at him, or you're fired." And so he kicks him out. And he goes, "Now, Virginia, where was I? Oh, yeah, my super over catchphrase in 3, 2, 1, because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it." Two huge cheers from the crowd.
Yeah, I laughed a lot when MJF was talking about, like, he's just so friggin' hilarious. Like he says he loves Virginia, but he's like, even though you guys are like a little, he says something like about them being weird or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. He insults Moxley, kind of says, makes fun of Renee a bit. He was just like, I'm not gonna say a subdued MGF, but like a funny MGF. Like he's doing his whole shtick. But you could tell, as I said before, you're seeing him becoming a good guy here, right?
Yep.
He's letting the people chant with him. He's letting them do everything. But yeah, this was like, I mean, in comparison to last week's, you really can't compare last week's, two different type of promos. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this because it made me laugh. This entire
Yep.
promo.
Yeah, I think what we have is we have two MJFs, right? And they're the same guy. It's just when he's in different moods. When he's
Mm-hmm.
got that kind of like, I'm really pissed off at you and this hurts me and I'm like emotionally upset. That's when you get like the serious, I'm going to bury you in a promo MJF.
Yeah.
Then you've got like just cocky kind of laugh a minute MJF, right? And I mean that one's down to a science too. He still gets his serious points across, but he does it by just taking out needles and firing them at everybody around him too,
Yep.
usually in a pretty hilarious fashion. Yeah, we got MJF number 2 tonight, but I was also like, I knew the second he said that to Stokely, I was like, okay, they're attacking Moxley
Yeah.
during the mid. Like
Yeah.
that's going to be your finish now, right? Like you
Yeah.
just knew it. At some point, those guys are going to interfere,
Yep.
whether it's in
Agreed.
the match or after the match. It's like, okay, Stokely and the guys are interfering because they don't believe MJF actually means that,
Yep.
or they really don't care if
Mm-hmm.
MJF means it or not. So anyway, Well, then we get a video of the Kingdom, who have now officially signed with AEW, and Matt Taven. He's answering the what Wardlow and oh yeah, I'm sorry,
Warjo.
Wardlow and Samoa Joe. They're challenged. He goes, "Look, I'm a former Grand Slam ROH champion. I'm gonna step up here. You know, he's gonna take on Wardlow." And Wardlow says, in a separate video, of course, "You can scream your name, all your experience, all your titles, but when you're in the ring with me, none of that matters. There are two inevitable things. Matt Taven will be the next victim of the Powerbomb Symphony, and Wardlow will win. Oh, I'm sorry." Ugh. Wardlow promos, they do that to me. Okay, so we have Wardlow, and he's like, "I'm gonna win," and we have Matt Taven, who's a really good wrestler, going to take on Wardlow.
Yeah, so he's gonna lose, but yeah, I mean, hey, they're finally defending the title on Rampage and wherever they're gonna do it, right? Over Dynamite next week. Yeah, I guess the fans love Warjo, whatever, but like, did they forget these guys have titles that they need to defend? It's not, they don't have the tag titles. They have different titles. So you know what? I mean, I don't hate this. This is great. You need to build back up that TNT title because right now it's worthless, right?
Right.
So build it up, make it worth something again, and then yeah, have your champion fight. Like this
Well,
is
of course.
simple.
Do you know who does a really, really good job at building up titles? The Kingdom.
Well, there you go.
I'm
Okay.
just saying they would be awesome with the TNT title.
Yeah, well,
And
we're gonna find out.
I know, and then they can also take the other belt off of Joe, and
Samoa Joe.
they can walk around with the two belts, and they can be a tag team, and then never defend the two belts
I
because they're
never
busy
developed
being a
it.
tag team. It'd be great, right? Anyway, yeah. So no, I like this. I mean, I like Matt Taven. We'll see what happens. I like the Kingdom. So
We'll
cool.
see.
I'm just kind of sad that one of their first big matches, they're probably just going to get crushed by Wardlow. But anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, then we move into Sammy Guevara with Ty Mello in his corner versus Bryan Danielson, who of course comes out with William Regal, but he does commentary. Guevara opens up the match with a high knee, a very aggressive attack,
Mm-hmm.
ending in a springboard cutter for two. Danielson does a German, but Sammy lands on his feet, goes for a drop kick, but Danielson catches him in the drop kick, turns him into the Romero special, and then gives him knees to the head. The match shifts though when Danielson goes for a tope and Guevara catches him with a jumping knee in midair, followed by a standing apron moonsault. Guevara works over Danielson now for quite a while until he gets to a point where he says to him, while he's got him kneeling, "You stupid dragon, I hate you." And he does a bunch of yes kicks to Danielson, but Danielson's just staring at him while he's
Yep.
doing the yes kicks, fires up from them, and then chops Guevara down. I mean, chops. Then there's the corner kicks and more chops, running elbow strike. Danielson flips Sammy outside. Tope elbow smash. I think it was supposed to be a tope suicida, but it looked more like he hit him with the elbow smash and landed on his feet. Shotgun drop kick inside, followed by the yes kicks, but Guevara counters the end with an amazing Spanish fly for two. Guevara goes to the top. Danielson catches him. Sammy gets out, goes for a splash, misses, but lands on his feet. And he does his standing moonsault sequence, misses, then goes to hit the third one, but he lands on the knees of Danielson on the third and gets transitioned into the label lock until Sammy finally manages to get to the ropes. Guevara then catches Danielson on the top for a Spanish fly for two. He sets up for the GTH, but Danielson counters into a poison Rana, Busaiko knee. He kicks his head in, triangle with elbow strikes. I mean, he just beats the
Knocks him
tar
out.
out of Sammy at this point. The ref stops it as Sammy goes unconscious.
Yeah. A few things here. So first, I want to give a shout out Sammy. I don't know if you noticed, but his entire entrance is basically an homage to Dragon Ball Z. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but his entire entrance, even the lettering he's using now for Sammy Guevara, I'm like, wow, okay, I guess he's a Dragon Ball fan. So there you go. So shout out Sammy. That was kind of cool.
I would never, ever in a million years have noticed that.
Yes, Sammy. I saw it. I saw it. Secondly, yeah, as I said, I was right. I had said, when was the last time you remember Sammy putting on a bad match and Danielson putting on bad matches, and we can figure it out. And lastly, yeah, this was my match of the night. I love this match. This match was I like the minute it's so. I thought, okay, we could have gotten two matches, and I thought, no, maybe Sammy's a high flyer, but maybe Danielson might slow it down. boy, was I wrong. Holy crap. Like when Sammy went on the offense and he started taking down Danielson, I was like, what the hell am I watching right now? Like Danielson wasn't really getting anything in until, the tides turned.
Mhm.
But wow, nonstop. Like Sammy Guevara. I actually wrote down. I actually wrote, Sammy, are you serious? After he countered the when Danielson tried to give him the back break or the suplex off the top rope and he landed on his feet.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching right now? And then remember we always praise Ray Phoenix on his high flying abilities. Watching Sammy do basically Dante Martin's move into the
Mhm.
cutter, but kind
Yeah.
of just balance on the rope for a second. And I was like, what the hell is going on here right now? Sammy is so freaking talented. Oh my
Mhm.
God. And props to Danielson. Holy, he kill this guy at the ending? My God. Listen, these guys fought hard. And credit to both these guys because they're gonna be sore tomorrow for sure. But they put on one hell of a match, and honestly, like bravo, match of the night for me. Match of the night.
Oh yeah, easily match of the night. This was a well done match. It had a really good story in it, like Danielson trying to come back from these losses, right? Sammy Guevara, young, hungry talent. Jericho Appreciation Society needs a win tonight after the earlier thing, and Sammy gave it everything he had. I mean, he went after Danielson even right out of the beginning. He did a little too much taunting and showboating
Yeah.
occasionally. I liked it when he did like the Jericho style, like "come on, baby"
Mhm.
pin on top of Danielson at one point, but man, I mean, you're absolutely right. It was nonstop. It was action. Even when they were doing like holds and stuff, they were all good. I mean, Danielson
Mhm.
is just
So
so
good.
good
I know.
as a wrestler, right? I mean, the guy could everything he does just looks dead on. Looks like he's
Perfect.
killing people.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's like he's just such a master technician. I'm so happy he's in AEW. We see a side of him all the time that we never got to see in WWE. We have the old Ring of Honor American Dragon, Bryan
Yeah.
Danielson, and he is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved this match. Match of the night easily. It would be if somebody said pick one match on the card, you have to tell someone to watch. It would be this match,
Yep.
100%. Be like,
Agreed.
check this match
Agreed.
out. You will not be upset. And then we go in the back to Mean Gene Renee, and she's with Ray Phoenix and Alex Abrahantes. And Renee says, Ray, your brother has an opportunity tonight. Like, duh. Ray says, my brother will be a double champion. And Alex says, he's going to win. Ray says, any member of the Death Triangle can be a double champion. And Alex says, maybe you can go for the All Atlantic Championship. These guys are great. Christian says, maybe Christian comes in with Luchasaurus and says, maybe you didn't hear me last week. Luchasaurus is getting gold. So then Orange Cassidy walks in and just says, casually, y'all talking about me? You two talking about this? Okay, next week, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, we'll do it. That's fine.
I love how it's the whole thing is that Ray Phoenix, there is a language barrier. I get it.
Hmm.
And Alex Abrahantes is not helping anything. He's such a goofball. I don't even know why he's back there.
Hmm.
Um and then of course I laugh a little bit like yeah that's right, it's Christian Cage, yeah, don't forget Luchasaurus. And then I laughed out loud when Orange Cassidy kind of just strolled in. Hey, are you guys talking about me?
Yeah.
You
He's
guys
so
talking about
good.
this?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. And I
Yep.
thought to myself as he walked, as it closed, I'm like, wait, is that a triple threats? Is that what we're talking about? And
Yep. Indeed
find
it
out.
is.
Yeah.
But what really the biggest mystery that came out of this last week, Christian said, we're done with Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus has gold in his future. And it's like, so if you're a wrestler and you're saying I've got gold in my future, and you're looking at the 387 titles in AEW, because there are, I think it's 387, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at the 387 titles in AEW, and you're going, which one should I, as a giant guy who can beat the living crap out of people, go for? And your manager, Christian Cage, I'm assuming he's like his manager, guide, mentor, says, you know which title you really need, Luchasaurus? The All
Oh,
Atlantic Championship. And Luchasaurus like, great idea. We're going for that belt. Okay. Like, is he just afraid he can't beat John Moxley or Wardlow?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Couldn't he beat up both of the Acclaimed and take the tag team
Listen,
titles?
I'm still waiting for the Damien Sandow version of Luchasaurus, where he's still the bad guy, but he's just a smart. Remember, he has his masters, right? So,
Yes, I
like,
know. I want that Luchasaurus back. He's got his like, yeah, exactly. I want the smart Luchasaurus who's like always spouting random intelligent facts and stuff and schooling us on things.
yeah, yeah. No, this is it was a funny. Again, this throughout tonight, I was just laughing so much. It's so many
Yep.
ridiculous segments, in
Yep.
a good way,
Yes.
like not in a bad way or a cringe way, I should say.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know what? I'm excited for that match next week. Like
Yeah, me
that,
too. It's gonna be
the triple
fun.
threat match. Yeah, it is gonna be a
Well,
lot of
I
fun.
mean, Ray Phoenix and Orange Cassidy in the ring.
I'm assuming Luchasaurus is probably gonna get knocked out. They're gonna take him out, and then the real match
Then the
begins.
match will start. Yes.
Yeah,
Although Luchasaurus makes a great base for guys like that.
yeah, exactly. And he's
So
pretty athletic for a big guy.
he
So
really is. So I
yeah,
think we're in for a treat. Speaking of treats, we then get Jamie Hayter taking on Riho. And apparently, according to the announcers, there is lots of history between Jamie Hayter and Riho. Wouldn't it be nice if they actually spent time on these things,
explaining it.
actually built up like a real women's feud storyline from like, a, like some real time to explore it, talk about it, cut some promos on it, really get to know this long history they've got, kind of like last week with the 10 years in the making match between Tony Storm and Hikaru Shida that the fans in the audience got about, I don't know, 24 hours to digest before the actual match, kind of like this one. I mean, to the fans, this would feel ice cold to them.
Yep.
That's not necessarily a bad thing because you're going to get a good match. But if you're going to say there's a long history, for the love of God, give them a history.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Agreed.
hate it when and they do this all the time with the women's division. Oh, these two have a long history, as if that suddenly validates their feud. We don't actually
them
need
a
to put any
promo.
effort into the
Yeah.
story here. If you guys go and watch all this other wrestling over there, like just go find the tapes and stuff, watch that, then come back and watch our product. And now, hey, we've done our storytelling.
Yeah.
It is lazy, 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 lazy. And it's really only the women's division that gets shafted like this.
Yep. You're right.
Anyway, back to the match. So Rio gets a huge crossbody off the top to the outside early in the match, but Hayter then drives her into the ring apron and the barricade, and Hayter takes over. This is a story in this match about just an overpowered, strong woman taking on a real underdog who can just take punishment like crazy and is trying to fight back to get the victory and has the talent to do it. That's your story. Simple and awesome. Hayter then Hayter gets a suplex into a lateral press for two and just beats down Riho for quite a while now. Taunts her. She's just playing the pure heel, like just making fun of her, taunting her, smashing her around. Rio's also occasionally fighting off Britt and Rebel on the outside. In addition to Hayter, you've really got the underdog here. She dodges a lariat though into a car wheel and an elbow, but the Cazadora she follows up with is blocked, but she counters that into a double foot stomp. Her 619 is blocked, but then she hits a bridge Northern Light suplex for two. You get another Riho cross body, but Hayter rolls through into a sheer drop brainbuster to Riho for a near fall. Riho reverses a suplex into another crossbody Hurricane Rana from the second rope, but Britt grabs her leg, letting Hayter recover and sets her up into a suplex. But Riho then hits a gorgeous code red for two. Hayter with a reverse foot stomp into a backbreaker. Lariat gets reversed into a snapdragon suplex by Riho for a 2 count. Riho then rolls through for a 2, but then Hayter finally manages to hit her with a kick, and she's been trying it through the match and finally gets the ripcord lariat on her for a 3 count.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great match. And not because I'm a part of the Jamie Hayter fan club, and not because I have a crush on her, but because I think she's absolutely fantastic in the ring, and she's gonna win the belt eventually. Like, I mean, that's if AEW can't figure that out, then they're losing their mind. For me, like this was I had said that when you put two people in the ring like this, you'll see how great wrestlers actually are. Now, here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
This match was great. No, I'm trying not to take anything away from it. It did, however, at certain points had just minor issue. I had minor issues with it just because, like, I thought maybe the timing was off on some of the moves or whatever. Regardless,
Mhm.
still the good outweighed anything negative I have to say about this, right? And
Right.
also, you got to remember, we just came out of the match of the night, Danielson versus Guevara, which was perfect, right?
Mhm.
So just remember that, right? This match was great. Like, I thought that you're right. How was this little girl Riho going to beat this monster of a kaiju of a woman, right? I guess if we can put it, right? How was
Yeah.
she doing? Like, because Jamie Hayter was literally catching her, ragdolling her like a little kid, basically. And Riho is
Mhm.
very tiny, so you have to remember that.
Right.
Um, I thought the offense from Riho was great because, yeah, what are you supposed to do? Right? You have to pull off these like high flying moves and stuff like that. I thought the interference from Britt and Rebel was really unneeded, right? The
Mhm.
distractions, yeah. But yeah, I know this. Like, I mean, Jamie Hayter is still going to be the heel, so she still has to fight the heel way. But man, she was just like throwing Riho around like nothing. And again, this shows, hey, guess who was in this match? The world champion, right? And this match was good. This
Yes.
match was very good. And it
Mhm.
wasn't, oh, I have three moves. Let's just use the three moves over and over and over again. Did you see how many things Riho did today?
Mhm.
Holy crap, right? Like, some of the moves, I'm like, my goodness, like these look fantastic. So yeah, I thought, again, like I said, this Dynamite was great, and this just added to it. This match was actually was very, very, very good. One of the better women's wrestling matches they've had in a long time on AEW, right? So
Yes.
yeah,
You've got a woman trained in Japan, and you have a woman who spent a lot of time in Japan.
in
Though,
Japan.
again, Tony Storm spent a number of years in Japan.
Yep.
Tony Storm is, well, MJF has a three-letter word for it. Tony Storm is mid. Jamie Hayter, not mid. Riho, not
Not
mid.
mid.
They're
Exactly.
both quite good. You're right. There were a couple small timing issues in the match. Um, but you know what? That aside, they wrestled a great match. The story
Exactly.
was great. I enjoyed watching it. Lots of cool stuff to see. It was like textbook big heel versus small underdog.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the small underdog just got caught this time. So,
Yeah.
but, you could have seen it going the other way too. Riho made it look like she had a legit shot at beating Hayter too. So,
Question.
mhm.
Um, where were Riho's friends during this match?
Oh,
Why
I'm going
couldn't
to
they
tell
come
you
out?
where Riho's friends are right now because right after the match, Riho's friend then decides to come out on, I mean, Riho came out and saved Tony Storm
Yeah.
last week. So Tony Storm repays the favor by coming out, waves, shows her title to Jamie Hayter, which
Mhm.
the announcers say is sending a message. Now, I want to ask you, and I mean this.
Mhm.
What message exactly was she sending? And to who was the message intended? To whom?
um she's sending the message to Jamie Hayter. Okay, the what I took out of this was one, wow, the women's belt looks actually very, very nice. I must say, when I saw it, I was like, wow, it really makes the TNT and the TBS championship look like garbage. But anyways, the women's belt looks really, really nice. And I was like, is Tony Storm wrestling on Rampage? Because why was she in full gear? Or did she just walk around like that the entire time?
Well, you see, not too long ago, she sat down with Adam Page. And they were having it was her
Full
ode
gear.
to that. There's the message. That was the message. They were
I
saying
got it.
she was sending a message. It wasn't to anyone in the ring at all. She was out there to send a message to Adam Page. Get well
Yeah,
soon.
well
I
soon.
got your back.
Bravo.
I'm wearing full gear tonight.
Bravo, Tony.
Now,
Bravo.
that's the message. I'm in full gear for no reason at all. Get well soon, Adam Page.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
she didn't run to the ring. She didn't do anything.
no, she just stood there with the belt, waving and smiling.
Yeah. Like, had she run to the ring, attacked them, knocked them out, and then held the belt up, I'd be like, okay. Maybe she's helping her friend out. But your friend got beaten up, they kicked
Hmm.
her out of the ring, and then you
Hmm.
just showed up afterwards
And waved.
and waved and held your belt up.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Maybe she was gassed coming up the tunnel. I don't know.
I
Like
don't, I
ate
don't
too much at catering because she had nothing else to do. I
I don't know.
have no idea. Yeah, this made no sense. I mean, she must be wrestling on Rampage.
She has to
Because
be.
why else
What
is she in
else?
full gear? Well, like we've already determined why she's in full gear. So
Yes,
anyway,
just true.
yes. Okay, so we solved that mystery. And then we have another mystery. Renee is in the back with Eddie Kingston. And Renee says to Eddie, Eddie, your friends, they're concerned for your behavior. And Eddie goes, I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm having a blast. Let's talk about Moxley. Let's stop worrying about me for a second. It's going to be hard for Johnny, but he's going to take it. That's it. Everyone else, leave me alone.
Eddie King again. Eddie, I miss Eddie Kingston. He's so
Yes.
friggin' hilarious. And the thing is that he is so good on the mic that you never really know if it's real or not, right?
I know.
Just the way he's acting. He's like, look at me, I'm smiling. I'm smiling. Look at my white teeth. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my, is he calling out like all the drama that's been happening? Because again, I do miss Kingston, from the ring. I know
Mm-hmm.
that he's scheduled for a match soon. He's teaming up with Okada,
Mm-hmm.
right? Against what's his name? Those two guys, those two guys, the IWGP champion. So Okada and Kingston versus
Jay
Switchblade.
White.
Yeah, Jay White, and I forget the next person, but it's a tag team match. So yeah, I saw that the other day. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
at Rumble on
interesting.
44th Street. It's a New Japan
Yes,
Strong event,
yes, yes, yes,
which
yes,
which
yes.
unfortunately they're running as a pay-per-view, so it will not be available for free on New Japan World.
Boo. Anyways,
I'll
I guess
say
they have
boo.
they gotta do what they gotta do. But yeah, no, I miss Eddie Kingston. I
Yes.
really do.
Yeah, and you just reminded me of something, and I thought I would just run this here because you mentioned the locker room stuff again, and we've been saying how, oh, how are things doing? And I just want to say Wardlow was in an interview this week
Mhm,
with ESPR Wrestling Podcast.
mhm.
They started talking about the chaos in the locker room. Okay. Here is Wardlow's response. Okay, so but fortunately on the inside, it has made us so much tighter. And I feel like
Nice.
since all that stuff happened, these past months have really, really changed the locker room. And we have some
Ooh,
really, really positive leadership. Guys like Jericho and Moxley and Bryan Danielson, they're true leaders and they're very passionate. They've done such a good job of getting the locker room together and on the same page and getting our company on the right track. I feel like our locker room is as tight as it was when we first started a few years ago because when we first started, we were all on the same mission. We were a family. And then we survived COVID together, where we spent more time with each other than our own families. It was really, really special that year where we basically lived in Jacksonville, but everyone bonded so well. And I feel like recently we're back to that.
nice.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of awesome because it,
Yeah.
it really shows.
So maybe they needed that fallout from All Out and
Hmm.
getting rid of some
Exactly.
people. Anyways,
Yeah, good,
yes.
good, good job. And I think the only thing that makes me sad is that none of the elite were around during that. And you could also kayfabe that promo quite nicely and be like,
Hmm.
mm-hmm, yeah, I'm excited for the future in AEW right now.
Same.
Hmm. So we then go to a Darby Allen promo. Well, a Darby Allen video segment that then leads to a Jay Lethal promo. So Darby Allen says, as you can see, Sting hasn't been here. Why? Because he's fighting the Great Muta in Japan. No, why? About a month ago, I went to Sting and told him I'm not happy. I want to crawl away and disappear. And Sting said, no, because you're Darby Allen. And I said, then fine, let me prove myself by myself. And now last week, Jay says he has a friend that knows my weakness. Well, my biggest weakness is myself because I have no safety zone. Have your friend come next week and tell me what my weakness is to my face. And so then they flip to Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt, and Jay says, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. And Sanjay Dutt yells for a bit.
Yeah. Um, yeah, again, I'm very happy to see Lethal versus Allen again. I'm curious who this friend is, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because I'm kind of going through my head like who Darby Allen's really been with the entire time. Really, the only person's ever been with was Sting, right? So maybe it's someone else that they're talking about, who I have no idea who that could be. But yeah, they had a great match previously. I think this match is gonna have shenanigans in it now. Thanks to Jay Lethal trying to be, heel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is good. I mean, just those little videos they were showing, like, Darby Allin, you're so crazy. Like, just stop. Tony Khan needs to just tell him, listen, Darby, now that you're under contract, I'm gonna need you to stop doing some of these things. Hopefully all these videos are old videos, not like last week or something like that. Like jumping off the waterfall, doing the skateboarding stuff. But yeah, no. Darby Allin's one of those guys where it's like he can never be a bad guy because he's such a likable person, that like because of his story, like he's just truthful about his story. He's like Eddie Kingston, right? Like Eddie Kingston, they tried to make him bad and stuff like that, but he just doesn't work, right?
Mhm.
Because like these guys have fought so hard, like even how young our Allen is, like he's
Mhm.
fought so hard to get what he's got, right?
Yep.
So it's really hard to cheer against guys like this,
Yeah, oh,
right?
for sure. And I mean, look, sign me up. Allen versus Lethal,
Yeah,
I'll take it. Can't
agreed,
be anything but a good match.
agreed.
Yep. Well, that takes us to our main event. We have John Moxley taking on Penta El Zero Miedo. And Mox, of course, heads the wrong way out of the gate. I mean, he really went the complete wrong way to the ring, and a fan
Yep.
had to correct him. He then turns around, walks up the stairs into the stands. The fan's like, nope, nope, ring's the other way. He walks past the ring and like he goes right past the ring. Finally notices the ring, finally gets to the ring. I mean, he is really honestly 1998 Jericho trying to find his way to the ring. It's pretty hilarious. So they chop and elbow and pound the heck out of each
Yep.
other early. Mox eats a thrust kick and falls to the outside, and you get Penta doing a tope con hilo out there. Penta spends a long time showboating, though, at one point with Mox up against the ring post, and he ends up hitting his own hand on it, leading to Mox whipping him into the barricade. Penta charges Mox in the corner, but gets an overhead belly to belly suplex for his effort into the turnbuckle. But Penta comes back with a sling blade for two. He goes for the fear factor, but Mox counters it into a lariat and his own pile driver for two. Mox gets a cross arm breaker locked in, transitions it to the hammer and anvil elbows, and then transitions that into the bulldog choke. But Penta undoes a clasp on his mask to escape from the bulldog choke. Penta counters the Jujigatami into an arm breaker of his own for two, into an arm breaker for two, like that move he perfected when he was in Lucha Underground, where it looks like he's trying to break the guy's arm.
Mm-hmm.
They fight on the apron. Penta then goes for a Canadian Destroyer on the steps. They get the steps pulled out a bit. He goes to the Canadian Destroyer, but Mox blocks it and gets a DDT onto Penta from the steps. Then you get Mox in the ring with the King Kong Lariat for two. He sets him up on the turnbuckle, but Penta manages to escape, foot stomps Mox on the turnbuckle. Fear factor then for a near fall. Penta goes for a kick, but gets caught into the paradigm shift and then follows it up with a Death Rider for three, and the match is over.
Yeah, I mean, we called this match. We knew exactly what was going to happen.
Mhm.
But it was a good, entertaining match. Like, I mean, these two guys. Like, I mean, as we said, Penta showboating. I brought that up. I said, Penta likes to showboat, right?
Yep.
And it was going to cost him. And hey, you don't showboat with John Moxley. And yeah, but this, as I said, this match was fun. Like, it wasn't slow in any way. Like as you can see, my main issues is like I don't really like slow matches. But this
Mhm.
match was not slow. Very, very fast paced. Like a lot of reversals. Like that move that again, as you said, the move Penta where he looks like he breaks the guy's shoulder. Oh
Yeah.
my god. It just looks painful. But no, I knew it was gonna happen. Also, when I saw the finish and I was like 9:55, what's gonna
Mhm.
happen
Yeah, I'm
now?
like, something's coming.
I was hoping for the Bucks, but anyways, or Omega. But yeah, no, this match was good. This match was actually very good. Like this entire Dynamite, very very good Dynamite.
Yep.
And then things happened. So, but what do you think about the match?
Yeah, no, the match. Oh, I love the match. The match was
Yeah,
good. I mean, we knew what the outcome was going to be, but
yeah,
they gave it a good go, right? There was a lot of
agreed.
good stuff. I mean, it was nice to see John Moxley in a slightly different kind of match against a guy that's more of a luchador style. And this is what makes Moxley so damn good. He can fight anybody. It doesn't matter,
Exactly,
from like
exactly. You're
a
right.
death match against Nick Gage all the way to like fighting against a Ray Phoenix or a Penta Jr., right?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. He can fight them all and wrestle a good wrestling match. He might not be the absolute best in any single category except maybe brawling, but he can give an amazing match to any opponent from any style all over the world.
Agreed.
And that makes him one of the best damn wrestlers on the planet, to be quite honest. Because the more I watch him, the more I'm impressed watching him do this stuff. The more I see him in these variety of matches, especially since he came back from his stint at rehab. He's been a whole new man. There's
Yeah.
just so much fire in him, so much passion. He's amazing right now. He's in, like, my top bunch of wrestlers. He's just so entertaining to watch now.
His style has definitely changed ever since
Yeah.
his rehab. He's more athletic. He's clearly in better shape than he was. And yeah, it's just everything just is it makes sense why he's in the Blackpool Combat Club, because everything is so precise. Like hey, that mess up, and I hate to bring this up, but that mess up last week when Hangman got hurt, that's not on Moxley.
No, and
That
it
was
wasn't
not
even,
on Moxley at
yeah,
all,
exactly.
right?
It was a
So
lariat that just kind of ended bad.
yeah, it ended bad, and we talked about these guys, when they take their bumps, they add to it, right? They make it a bit more extravagant. Hangman's probably taken that shot how many times
Yeah.
and landed correctly, but
Yeah.
there's that day something happened. So
Right.
that's why you look at Moxley doing these shots and everything like that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
look at one thing I had to point out. Moxley does his stomps now. Have you noticed? They're a little, like, I appreciate them because I like the fact he does them, but he's like tapping on the guy. He's not like
Yeah.
stomping, he's like tapping. Bryan Danielson, I'm like, dude, are you sure you weren't gonna kick Sammy's head actually off of there, even though you're stomping on the shoulder? But I appreciate that because
Yeah.
these guys, like, again, ever since Mox came back, like, he has been the MVP of AEW, right?
100%.
So like, I am, again, if there's one person to continuously carry this belt, I'm happy it's Mox. Even though I think
100%.
he deserves a long vacation right now, but hey, he's gonna get it, because we'll talk about that in a bit. But like, yeah, no, again, great match, and you're right. Like, watching Moxley recently, he can go with anybody.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah, legit. And that's why I think he is, like, clearly the kind of guy that can carry a company, hold a championship. He comes across as legit.
Yep.
He's amazing. Great on the mic, great wrestler. Yeah, he's great. Well, after the match, what we thought might happen actually did. The entire firm, with the exception of Matt Hardy, beats down on Mox. Morrissey hits him first, then they all attack him. Security tries to intervene. We then learn that the Blackpool, I like this little attention to detail, the Blackpool Combat Club has been locked into their locker room. They can't get out to help them. So MJF, then you hear, after a while, after the beatdown goes on for a bit, Mox is trying to get out. MJF finally comes out. He's conflicted. He turns around. He walks back out, but then he comes running back down. He fires Stokely, but then the firm beats down MJF, and they beat him. And I guess Mox is just dead because he never gets up again. The firm just beats down MJF. They put him through a table, and that essentially ends the show.
Yeah, they heel beat him down. Like he got the face beating here, where they put him through a table. They just clobbered him over and over again, threw him outside the so now, before Full Gear, which is November 19th, which is like what, less than a month away now. I'm assuming there's going to be some matches between MJF and the firm going forward, right? Because MJF isn't the type of person who's going to just lay down and walk away, especially a guy with the mic. Now, two things about this. We've always heard, and again, we've heard this, we haven't seen it or heard it, that Stokely's good on the mic. We've heard this. We have not experienced this. Well, guess what? They put MJF with Wheeler Yuta, and guess what we said? Wheeler Yuta, you did pretty great with MJF there. Maybe they found like a formula here that's starting to work. Take the guys who are really, really good on the mic, give them the opportunity to work with people who need the work, even though Stokely may not need it. Give them the opportunity. So after that Regal promo last week, where it's like MJF fires, and then Regal just drops a bomb on him, right? Maybe we're gonna get some of that going forward a bit, right? With Stokely versus MJF on the mic, but in the ring, obviously. Like, listen, I hate the guns, but they're cannon fodder. Morrissey, look, he looks huge. Listen, Morrissey.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I must admit, like apparently he's gotten good help as well.
Mm-hmm.
He is in fantastic shape.
Yep,
I was like,
100%.
he looks better than he was in WWE at
by
any
a
point,
mile.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing what, because he was the one that came in the ring and beat the crap out of John Moxley first, right?
Yep.
And then the other ones came out, and it's giving the opportunity to like people like Lee Moriarty and stuff like that, like who I guess turned bad when he dyed his hair green. Anyways, but like, yeah, Ethan Page, all these guys, like, hey, let's start a feud here. Now it's weird because MJF really is playing the face here. One versus everyone. That's crazy. That's literally the face. So
Yep.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So yeah. So as I said, Bill, earlier today, you know, the Elite coming back. It looks like they're coming back as bad guys, trying to burn everything to the ground.
Which will be fun.
And the person who may be standing up to them is MJF
and John Moxley.
and John Moxley.
Yeah, see, here's the interesting thing about that whole thing. He came and rescued John Moxley, right? Now, there's a lot of bad blood between them.
Yeah.
Fine. But who could solve that bad blood enough that we could actually see John Moxley and MJF in a tag team together over the next couple of weeks before Full Gear in their match? William Regal.
William Regal, yeah.
He's a common denominator between the two of them, right? Yeah. So I got this feeling that there's some more plans going on here with the Blackpool Combat Club beyond just, okay, well, you know, Mox is going for the title against MJF, and MJF's got this beef with him. But I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Garcia and Danielson, them getting locked in the room. You know, there's potential all over the place for storylines around these guys right now.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because remember, when Punk was here, it was going to be MJF versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championships. That's why the Elite were kind of like, hey, you guys take the trails. Well, Punk's not here anymore.
Yep.
We need someone to go up against MJF. And secondly, we need someone to go up against the champions to get those belts back and become belt collectors if they may, right?
Yes,
so you know, I'm very interested on what's going to happen.
And they could push all that rumor crap. They could take every ounce of all that rumor, all that Jim Cornette flame, all of it, and just act like it's the truth.
Oh,
yeah, it would just be stellar, arrogant BS, and I would love every single second of it. You know, because they are the Elite.
The Elite, exactly.
And without them, it's all wrestling. It's not all Elite wrestling, but it's true. It is all wrestling.
It is all wrestling.
But it's not AEW. So yeah, I think we're in for some very interesting times. I'm very intrigued. The ending of this leaves so many starry possibilities, which makes it a great ending to a Dynamite. Now, I am going to say, in its totality tonight, this Dynamite was an Omega level Dynamite.
Oh yeah, by far Omega level Dynamite. There were no matches where we're like, could you believe this happened? I can't believe this is boring. No, from the beginning when they kicked off, every match was great and above. Every segment was absolutely hilarious, right? I haven't laughed this much during a Dynamite in a very, very long time. So I total agreement, this Dynamite was on the Omega level.
100%. Yeah, and I agree with everything you said. Funny, great wrestling. It's everything you want in a wrestling show. There was something here for everyone except for blood.
Yes, exactly.
No one bled tonight.
No one. Well, Claudio had a little bit of blood, if you noticed it, right in the back of his head. I think it came from like the little mini beatdown, but anyways, very, very little bit of blood.
Yeah, it was like less blood than, you know, Riho had on Dark.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Okay, cool. So that was Dynamite. Now, of course, this means it is time for our one phrase to summarize the evening. Krishna?
I haven't even, you know, like I was so taken back by everything that's happening today. I haven't even thought about a phrase that sums up the night. You know what? The one phrase I'm going to say, and this is an ode to my guy, obviously, is, and I'm going to add a little to it. The Bucks Omega came here to change the world, and they're still going to change the world. So that's my thought. And it's well, just one little segment changed the entire landscape. Not even a segment, like a 10-second like clip changed the entire landscape of AEW tonight. And whew, I'm excited for what's coming.
You and me both. You and me both. That was an amazing 10 seconds. My phrase to summarize the evening is pretty simple. If I were to show this show to someone and say to them, you know, this is why I watch pro wrestling. Just sit down and watch these 2 hours. And if you don't get it after watching that, you're bloody hopeless. I would be completely happy with saying that to them because it's true. This show was like a capsule of what I love and some of what sometimes you don't always love about pro
Yeah,
wrestling. But it was like pro wrestling in a nutshell.
that's true. And as Taz said tonight, you know, to Tony Schiavone, is Renee taking your job?
Exactly. Exactly. Because, and as Tony said, well, if she's the one who has to stand out there with MJF, that's fine.
That's fine. Exactly.
Yep. But none of them can outdo the great one who we will have back very soon.
Yes.
And as that great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.